Hey everyone, welcome to the Mythic Table Town Hall for 2021 December. So in this town hall, we've got a couple of things to get through, so we're going to jump into it right now. So on our agenda today, we've got some announcements. We have a couple of kudos to give out, some updates to make. We'll go over what you can do to help, and as usual, what we can do to help you. Okay, so for our announcements, it's pretty uneventful November. We did have Matt and Daniel join us, so we'd like to welcome them. Matt is joining us as an assistant producer, and Daniel is joining us as a community manager. So for kudos, we have Keith to thank for helping out with the hackathons. So last weekend, Keith and I jumped on and worked for Saturday and Sunday. We got a lot done. It was really great, and it was great to have him there. So Kevin, who's here with me in this meeting, I want to thank you personally for all the hard work in recreating our Discord server. So that's coming along fantastically, but we can obviously see that a lot of work and love is going into that. So thank you very much, Kevin. And Matt for owning the bug triage. So Matt's jumped on board and wanted to make an impact. And as a producer, or what we call a project manager, or sorry, we call them producers, but everyone else calls them project managers. They just help facilitate communication, priorities, goal setting, and things like that. So the big thing that Matt's taking on right now is the bug triage. This is a process that we're going to use to meet weekly or bi-weekly to talk about what the current state of the bugs are, which ones we want to try to do, and which ones we want to try to defer and push off to later. So Matt's going to be owning that. For updates, November was pretty slow. Moving into the holidays, things are going to slow down a little bit, unfortunately. Everybody's super busy, but we're doing the best we can. We made some additional improvements to operations. We made the deployment process a lot slicker. We've started work on the object permissions. So we have some server code that's been in process as of last week, and that's going well. We also had a successful hackathon, which was great because we haven't done one of those in a long time. So this month, I'm hoping to do another one, although it's going to be hard to find the time, to be honest with you. I'm thinking maybe over Christmas and December, Christmas and Boxing Day, but it's hard to say. Everyone's going to be pretty busy, and I don't want to dip into anyone's, holiday schedule. So we've gone over 31,000 unique player accounts, and we're up to 129 patrons. So for our plans moving forward, we're going to continue our DevOps improvements as always, but this is taking a back seat to our Kickstarter rewards and our Kickstarter obligations. And we hope to do more hack days, but with the holidays, we're not very hopeful, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So what can you do to help? As always, you can spread the word. Tell your friends, share our posts, anything like that. And also join the development team. We're looking for programmers, DevOps agents, artists, UI engineers, designers, UX designers, community managers, QA, and even people interested in doing project management. So we've gotten through that pretty fast. And now we're going to move on to the section and what we can do to help you. And as always, we like to open up the floor. But today we don't have very many people. But I understand, Kevin, you've brought some suggestions and comments from Discord. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have some great suggestions, actually. We've been getting some great feedback lately.
Cool.
So we have one question from Eric, and he was wondering if in the future, we would be open to adding multilingual UI support. And he says that translation could be done by the community, like most of our features. And there may be some third-party service support for translation via JSON.
Yeah, no, there's some really great tools, utilities, and libraries out there for putting in localization. And this is something that's been on our radar for a long time. And I'm hoping to get a champion, an engineer who's really interested in this, to pick it up and show us what it looks like in the 21st century with regards to JavaScript and Vue and things like that. Once we can do that, we can build a plan for putting together our translations, and it just becomes, localization at that point becomes just a way we think of writing our software. So instead of just putting plain text into our user interface, we reference the localization service. So that's going to take a little bit of investigation, a little bit of research, and a little bit of time. And moving on, it's going to impact our velocity a little bit. It'll make things a little bit slower to develop, as adding new text into the software is going to be a little bit harder than it currently was. But we're really interested in solving this problem. Our first step is going to be talking to Lucas, who is our UI lead, and talking to him about some of the ways that we can make this easier. Visual language is a great way to do it, because with a visual language, we don't actually need to translate any text. You know, we all know what a D20 looks like. We all know what a sword looks like, things like that. So it's a great question.
Awesome. Okay, so we have another question from Girly Bits, who is a new Discord member and one of our gold backers. And she is suggesting that we add optional definable die for the die bar that allows you to add odd dice like D2, D100, etc. for tables and quick decisions.
Yeah. So the dice bar that we have right now, it was implemented during our experimentation with macros. This is a V0.0.1 version of how we envision the macro system and the dice tool. I'd love to revamp this and get a second version up and going. But in order to do that, we need to do some UX work and some design work around what the look and feel of that is going to be. I'd love to see it. The chances of us getting that done before we finish our Kickstarter goals, pretty slim.
Okay, and Girly Bits was also suggesting that she would like to be able to drag and drop dice onto the map and then watch them roll. And even better, if each player was assigned a highlighted color and you could see that color when they rolled the dice.
Yeah, there's some really great suggestions. This kind of thing, quality of life improvements in Flare, is one of the great things about Mythic Table being open source. We may not necessarily prioritize this high as a development team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that a talented engineer couldn't jump on the project and say, prototype that for us. And if they prototype that and they really like it, and the team is on board with it, then we can run with it. And I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. The only problems is how is it going to impact the rest of the user experience? As long as we can find a nice way of doing that, I'm absolutely on board with this.
Awesome. And then we also had another question. What would the process be like for self-hosting? Can you talk more about that?
Right. So one of the things we're doing at Mythic Table is we're trying to make this as easy as possible so you don't necessarily have to self-host. Unfortunately, that means that we're not making self-hosting very, very easy. Now you can do it, but it's it's complicated. It's generally really only recommended for engineers to set up at this time. But we have talked in the past about making this a little bit seamless. However, the priority, if I have my way, is that to remove the need for self-hosting. So the great thing about the way Mythic Table is hosted right now is it's available everywhere you go. You can use it from your phone on the bus. You can use it You know, at work, you can use it at home. As long as you authenticate with the same user, you have all your data available to you. You don't have to worry about setting up routers or firewalls or NAT punch through or anything like that. Everything just works. So setting up things for self-hosting, not required for Mythic Table. Instead, what I would like to know is what kind of things are we missing that we want to solve with self-hosting? If there's a way that we can provide that, then I would like us to try to prioritize that above the self-hosting. That being said, there is a lot of interest for self-hosting, and it's possible that people will come on board that will build Mythic Table out for, say, Docker Compose, which would make it really easy for us to self-host. But currently, hosting Mythic Table at this time is a little bit involved.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I was just going to add some things at the end here. I had some key metrics for the month that I was going to share for our Discord. So our member count is up in Discord by 73.7% compared to last month. Our communication is up by 28.6% compared to last month. And our total messages sent is up 6% compared to last month. Our voice minutes are up 400% compared to last month. And our visitor count is up to 43.6% compared to last month. We really appreciate all the new and continued members. And as we finish renovating the Discord, all of our previous members will be grandfathered into the accepted guidelines role as a token of our gratitude and confidence that you will, of course, follow our guidelines as you have been up until this point as dedicated members of our community. Moving into the next month, some of the tasks on the horizon for the community team include beginning an overhaul of our other social media channels, further establishing our internal infrastructure, and fixing up any Discord bugs that I may have missed the previous month. We're also developing some really exciting new plans for the next month's newsletter and some really engaging new content coming soon. Maybe something cool to our Twitch too.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. That's fantastic. Okay. I believe that's it for us today. I want to thank everybody for joining us and, you know, all of your support, all of your faith. We couldn't do this without you. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Have a happy holidays, and we'll see you guys next year.
See you soon.